Alright, update number 2 for July. We built our deck. Got a couple of these Schwinn choppers. The other one is not in view. Those are mosquito plants growing up there. They work good only if you're standing right in the middle of them. Ceiling fans worked out good. The way I built the top and the bottom is I built it in sections, 4-foot sections, so I could take it apart when I move. Everything's bolted together or lag bolted. The electrical was simple. I took one of those big junction boxes and I put a switch for our security light, ceiling fan, and our rope lights, and just ran the conduit to our breaker box so I can pull the wire out when we move and just cut that up in a couple pieces and glue it back together when I get done. This thing has been great. Without it, this place was just pure miserable outside. The sun beating down on this side. Got a little bit of my primitive artwork up. I like that Mexican stuff. Looks pretty cool. And I've got some over here, and I've got a chimney. I've got to make a base for it to set it up a little bit higher. And then I've got these Sentinella candles that are a little Polynesian looking. I thought they would look kind of cool with everything. Alright, from the outside I put some pots where the water drips off the roof into them. It seems to help them. I'm in the middle of killing grass where I don't have to weed whack around this stuff. And you can see the sections I built there. And like I said, everything's bolted together. My philodendron's doing really good. And I've got something else up here. I don't know what the hell they call it. But we did the same roof pitch as the house so it would match it. And that really cuts down on the air conditioning noise because it's way up top. I got that trimmed out and painted and caulked up. We'll be making a walkway here to something in my next update. Everything's pressure treated. I painted the lumber a little bit wet, and some of my white it's leaking through, but I've got some kills. I'm going to take care of that and repaint it. But you see where I lag bolted everything together so I could take it apart. Up here, I'm going to use those steps somewhere else. Now I'm going to build a ramp that goes out so it's easier to get the bikes on and off the deck. So that'll help a lot. The floor we're going to paint blue. I put yellow on it because that's the paint I happened to have when I was ready to do it. So we're dragging stuff on it and see how it's going to hold up, and I think it's going to do well. But we're going to paint it blue where it doesn't show dirt and scratches as much. And then I put an outlet right over here, and that goes up to that junction box. I just have it up underneath so that way I can pull everything loose, pull the wire out and pull it back through the conduit. And then the wiring up top is just held on by just simple wire tie clips. And the wood up top is not pressure treated. I just went ahead and painted it before I put the sections together. You can see where I bolted it. And I did the bolts outside. And then running across here, then you can see I used those T-plates. I've got to paint those ones up there. I got to prime it. This metal paint's much better if you prime it. But some of the wood was a little bit green, but I'm letting it shrink a little bit. I've got to put some caulking in the cracks, but I'm letting it shrink and let the last of the stains come through so I can get it dealt with. But it turned out good. We're real happy with it. Basically, it's an outdoor living space. The dogs and the cats love it. So do we beside the point. Or I should say also. Then I've got the table I'm going to make, but I'll show you in the next update what I'm making that table out of. I think y'all are going to like it. And having the security lights up top really worked out well. in this electrical box. And what I had to do on that was take a tool and cut out for the switches, and then just screw it down tight. And for the power, I used three, I think they look like ground blocks when you buy a breaker box. And then I hooked the ground, neutral, and hot to it, and then I just stick a wire in it, tighten the screw down. Then it's easier to disconnect and add things if I need to. I may add a small high velocity fan to move the air whenever it's not blowing. It gets kind of stagnant, and I'll just go into the side of it like I did up here with those waterproof connectors, and that's for the ceiling fans and the security light. And then on this side I did the same thing for our rope lights. I didn't want to do a lot of elaborate wiring when we move and have to take it all apart. And the ceiling fans worked out great. Alright, I'll see you on the next update, and as always, y'all have a good one.